Brough Superior, a name of heritage that conjures up Lawrence of Arabia, gentlemen touring machines and racing. A fantastic mark that disappeared long before I was born, but has been resurrected by another guy called Mark, who I've been very lucky to come to know. I've even perched on one of his bikes. I haven't ridden them. I daren't. But Mark, tell us about this wonderful story, Brough Superior, and it's here today.
Well, it's a funny situation. 2007, I was in America with Mark. We were at the Legend of the Motorcycles. And the guy bounced up to me and says, "Would you like to buy Brough Superior?" And I could see it was a problem, but we bought it after about 11 months and it worked well for us. And for the last 7 years, we've been in a position to develop a motorcycle along with the great help and assistance of Terry Henrietta Boxer Design and Akira, who look after all the Kawasaki racing. And between the three of us, particularly Terry Henrietta and Albert Castine, his assistant, we've created a product, and it's here today.
It's here today, kind of, not quite surrounded, but it's got a race bike I can see over there, Bonneville race bike, that if I'm not mistaken is ridden at Bonneville. And this other one I'm not quite sure, looking over my shoulder.
Well, we used that one at Pendine when they decided they'd go back and do demonstration racing at Pendine. But this was the bike that Jay Leno first rode, and that was in 2008. And it was the first one of the two bikes we built that year for Brough Superior, just to say we're back.
So in essence, on the stand, what we can find are two brand new, modern day, high-tech Brough Superiors, along with two modern day
old
Brough Superiors.
That's right.
You're sort of like the, to me it seems you have the renown of knowing where Brough Superiors are, where those hard to find bolts and who's got them.
Exactly
sort of the connoisseur Brough, as it were, and it's fantastic to see these machines here. Absolutely fantastic. And of course, what he's got to do is sell them. So if you want to get a Brough Superior and live that romance that is all conjured up with Lawrence, you've got to check out this Brough Superior. Wonderful. Are you going to Bonneville again? You've been there a few
We will
times.
go to Bonneville. My daughter wants to race next year. We're building her now a 350 Brough Superior with one of the Eric Fernhoff engines, and we will take 2 or 3 bikes back to Bonneville, probably again with the assistance of the Ace Cafe.
I look forward to being your head tea boy, as I recall last time.
I look forward to getting another bottle opener.
Yes, that's about all I'm good for out on these race team things, is making a tea. But in terms of Bonneville and the records, I'm hoping you'll recall what those records were.
Well, on the 750 bike, we've got 2 world records and 2 AMAs with Alan Cathcart and Henry Cole, and with the Sam was the mechanic, and as you know, they're doing Shed and Buried now. And on the other bike, Eric Patterson, who's been at the Ace Cafe, I think, since the Ace Cafe was built almost.
I think you're right there, yeah.
And he certainly has made up with it by chatting to everyone around, which he's very good at. And Eric has used the 1200 and obtained 3 records.
So the bikes don't just look good, they go fast.
They have to work, they have to go.
In the true spirit of George Brough back in the day,
absolutely,
he rode them all to make sure they all did 100 mile an hour. Well, these do a lot more than that.
And George, in the early days, in the 40s, tried to reconjure up the life of Brough Superior, and he went to Bonneville and failed, and we decided where could we start, and it was going to be at Bonneville. So where he left off, we've taken over. And so the first time we went there with yourself, we went there to practice, and we took an AMA record. We were very pleased.
Yeah, and I took the tea bags.
You forgot the tea bags that year, but we won't talk about that.
Mark, great seeing the bikes, great seeing you.
Mark, good
check
to see
out
you
the
too.
stand, Brough Superior.